Have you ever heard of a country where $500 a month can get you a comfortable apartment, delicious meals, and access to one of the 7 natural wonders of the world? A place where the people are so genuinely friendly that visitors often say it feels too good to be true. Most travelers rush past this landlocked gem in southern Africa, heading straight to South Africa's Cape Town or Kenya's Masai Mara. But what if I told you that Zambia might just be Africa's best-kept secret for budget travelers and expats alike, while everyone's obsessing over expensive safari destinations? Zambia quietly offers world-class wildlife experiences at a fraction of the cost. The locals call their homeland the warm heart of Africa, and after spending time there, you'll understand why this nickname isn't just tourism marketing. It is the genuine reality of daily life. This isn't your typical travel documentary filled with luxury lodges and champagne sunsets. We're talking about real life in Zambia, where your monthly grocery budget might equal what some people spend on a single dinner in London, where the local beer costs less than a bottle of water, in Times Square, and where the women are known throughout the region for their striking beauty, warm personalities, and strong family values. The country sits in the heart of southern Africa, surrounded by 8 different nations. Yet somehow it remains off most people's radar. While tourists flood neighboring Zimbabwe for Victoria Falls, or Botswana for the Okavango Delta, Zambia offers both natural wonders and authentic cultural experiences without the tourist markup prices. But here's what makes Zambia truly special. It is one of the few African countries where you can live comfortably as a foreigner, without breaking the bank. We're not talking about roughing it in hostels or surviving on instant noodles. Picture having your own apartment, eating out regularly, taking weekend trips to see elephants and lions, and still having money left over at the end of the month. The numbers speak for themselves. According to recent cost of living data, a single person can live comfortably in Zambia's capital, Lusaka, for around $585 per month excluding rent. Add a decent apartment, and you're still well under $800 total. Compare that to living in Miami, London, or Sydney, where $800 might barely cover your monthly groceries. What's the catch, you ask? Honestly, the biggest challenge might be convincing your friends back home that you are not crazy for moving to a country they can't even locate on a map. Zambia doesn't have the international reputation of South Africa or the safari fame of Tanzania. But that's precisely what makes it perfect for those seeking authentic African experiences without tourist trap prices. The country boasts political stability that many of its neighbors envy, while other regions deal with conflict and uncertainty. Zambia maintains peaceful democratic transitions and ranks as the 3rd safest country in Africa according to the Global Peace Index. The crime rates are surprisingly low for the region, and most expats report feeling safer walking around Lusaka at night than they did in major American or European cities. So whether you're a budget traveler looking to stretch your dollars, a digital nomad seeking affordable African base, or simply someone curious about authentic African life, away from the tourist crowds, Zambia offers something genuinely different. But before you start Googling flight prices, there's a lot more to understand about what daily life actually looks like in this hidden paradise. Zambia sits like a butterfly in the middle of southern Africa, with borders stretching out to touch 8 different countries. To put that in perspective, most nations are lucky to share borders. With 3 or 4 neighbors, Zambia practically throws a continental block party every day. The Democratic Republic of Congo lies to the north, Tanzania to the northeast, while Angola, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Malawi complete the neighborhood. This landlocked position might sound limiting, but it's actually Zambia's secret weapon. The country acts as a cultural melting pot, absorbing influences from all directions while maintaining its own distinct identity. You'll hear Swahili phrases mixed with Portuguese influences from the Angolan border, combined with British colonial remnants and purely Zambian innovations. The geography itself tells an incredible story. The mighty Zambezi River cuts through the southern border, creating not just Victoria Falls but an entire ecosystem that supports some of Africa's most abundant wildlife. When you first see the Zambezi, especially during the rainy season, It is hard to believe this massive waterway flows through what many consider a small African country. The landscape changes dramatically as you travel across the country. The Central Plateau, where most people live, sits at about 1,000 to 100 meters above sea level. This elevation creates a surprisingly pleasant climate that defies most people's expectations of equatorial Africa. Instead of sweltering heat year-round, you get distinct seasons with temperatures that rarely become unbearable. During the dry season from May to October, daytime temperatures hover around 20 to 5°C, 68 to 77°F, perfect for outdoor activities. Nights can actually get quite cool, sometimes dipping below 10°C, 50°F, which means you need a jacket, something first-time visitors often forget to pack. The wet season brings afternoon thunderstorms that locals call the rains, transforming the landscape from golden grasslands to lush green paradise within weeks. Flying into Lusaka, you'll notice how green everything appears, even during the dry season. This isn't the desert landscape many foreigners expect when they think of African countries. Instead, you see rolling hills covered with Mayambo woodland, dotted with small farms and villages connected by red dirt roads that snake through the countryside like ancient arteries. The capital city of Lusaka sprawls across several hills, creating a unique urban landscape where you can stand in the city center and still see countryside in the distance. Unlike cramped coastal cities, Lusaka has room to breathe. The central business district sits in a valley surrounded by residential areas that climb up the hillsides. Some neighborhoods feel like suburban America, complete with shopping malls and fast food chains, while others maintain a distinctly African character with bustling markets and street vendors. What strikes first-time visitors most is how normal everything feels. After hearing endless stories about African infrastructure challenges, seeing smooth paved roads, reliable electricity, and functioning internet comes as a pleasant surprise. Sure, power outages happen occasionally, especially during the rainy season, but they're typically brief and predictable. The people themselves contribute significantly to positive first impressions. Zambians have mastered the art of genuine hospitality without the aggressive sales tactics common in touristy destinations. When someone offers to help with directions or recommendations, they're genuinely trying to help, not setting up a sales pitch. The cultural diversity becomes apparent quickly. Walking through Lusaka, you'll encounter people from dozens of different ethnic groups, each maintaining their cultural identity while participating in modern Zambian life. The Bemba dominate the central and northern regions. The Tonga call the southern areas home, while the Lozi rule the western provinces. Each group brings distinct traditions, languages, and cuisines to the national mix. Perhaps most surprisingly, English serves as the official language, making navigation much easier for foreigners than in many African countries. Most educated Zambians speak English fluently, though they'll often switch between English and local languages during conversations. This linguistic accessibility removes a major barrier for expats and long-term visitors. The climate plays a huge role in daily life rhythms. During hot season months September to November, life slows down during midday hours. Shops close for extended lunch breaks, people seek shade, and most activities happen in the morning or evening. The rainy season brings its own rhythm, with afternoon storms that temporarily halt outdoor activities, but create spectacular lightning displays across the horizon. Zambia's location also makes regional travel incredibly convenient. Weekend trips to Victoria Falls take just a few hours by bus. You can reach Zimbabwe in under an hour from Livingstone, or cross into Botswana for a Chobe River cruise. This central position makes Zambia an excellent base for exploring southern Africa, without paying premium prices for accommodation. The alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. in most Zambian households, but not because people are rushing to beat traffic jams. The early morning hours provide the coolest, most comfortable part of the day for outdoor activities. You'll hear roosters crowing, dogs barking, and the gentle hum of conversation as neighbors greet each other across their gardens. Family life forms the absolute center of Zambian culture, but not in the nuclear family sense familiar to Western visitors. Extended families often live together or in close proximity, creating support networks that would make most individualistic societies envious. It's completely normal for grandparents, parents, children, cousins, and aunts to share living spaces, meals, and daily responsibilities. The morning greeting ritual takes on special importance. In Zambian culture, you simply cannot start a conversation without proper greetings, and attempting to rush through this process marks you immediately as foreign and somewhat rude. A typical greeting exchange might last several minutes as people inquire about each other's health, family, work, and general well-being. This isn't small talk. It's genuine interest in the other person's life. Muli Bwanji, how are you? In Chichewa, or Washabuka Bwanji, how did you wake up? In Bemba starts most conversations. The responses aren't just fine, thanks. People actually share brief updates about their lives, creating micro-connections throughout the day that build stronger community bonds. Work culture operates on what locals call African time, which can frustrate punctuality-obsessed foreigners initially. However, this flexibility serves important social functions. If someone's child gets sick or a neighbor needs help with an emergency, those human needs take priority over rigid scheduling. Business meetings might start 30 minutes late, but they'll also include genuine check-ins about participants' families and recent life events. The concept of Ubuntu, I am because we are, permeates daily interactions. This philosophy means individual success only matters within the context of community well-being. Successful Zambians are expected to help extended family members, contribute to community projects, and share resources with those in need. This creates strong social safety nets, but can also create pressure on upwardly mobile individuals. Traditional gender roles remain quite defined, especially in rural areas, but urban centers show increasing flexibility. Women traditionally handle household management, child rearing, and market trading, while men focus on formal employment and community leadership. However, Lusaka and other cities have growing numbers of female professionals, business owners, and government officials who balance traditional expectations with modern careers. The daily meal schedule revolves around shima, Zambia's national staple food. Most families eat shima for lunch and dinner, accompanied by various relishes and ndiwo made from vegetables, meat, or fish. Breakfast might include tea, bread, or porridge, but nshima provides the foundation for serious meals. Eating nshima properly requires technique. You form small balls with your right hand, dip them in the relish, and consume everything without utensils. Shopping happens in multiple venues throughout the week. Formal supermarkets exist in urban areas, stocked with imported goods and familiar international brands. But most daily shopping occurs in local markets. These bustling spaces overflow with fresh produce, dried fish, mealy meal corn flour for nshima, and household goods. Market vendors become like extended family members, providing credit during tough months and saving special items for regular customers. Religious life plays a significant role. In most Zambian communities, with Christianity dominating but traditional beliefs maintaining strong influence. Sunday church services are major social events where communities gather to worship, share news, and organize collective activities. Many churches offer multiple services in different languages, reflecting the country's linguistic diversity. Evening entertainment varies by location and economic status. Urban families might watch television, listen to music, or visit friends and relatives. Rural communities often gather around fires for storytelling, traditional music, and communal discussions about local issues. Soccer, called football, locally unites people across all demographics. You'll find pickup games happening in virtually every open space. Traditional ceremonies remain central to cultural identity, with each ethnic group maintaining distinct celebration styles. These aren't tourist performances, but authentic community events celebrating harvest seasons, coming-of-age rituals, and historical commemorations. Participating in these ceremonies as a foreigner requires genuine respect and usually personal invitations from community members. The pace of life deliberately prioritizes relationships over productivity in ways that can shock visitors from fast-paced societies. Zambians will interrupt whatever they're doing to greet friends, check on elderly neighbors, or help strangers with directions. This social prioritization creates warm, welcoming communities, but requires patience from efficiency-focused foreigners. Modern technology integration happens selectively. Most Zambians own mobile phones and use them extensively for communication and mobile banking. Internet cafes remain popular in areas with limited home connectivity, serving as social hubs where young people gather to access online content and communicate with distant friends and relatives. Walking into a Zambian kitchen for the first time feels like stepping into a different universe of flavors and cooking techniques. The aroma of wood smoke, simmering stews, and roasted maize creates an intoxicating combination that immediately signals you're about to experience something completely different from Western cuisine. Nshima reigns supreme as the undisputed king of Zambian food culture. This thick, white porridge made from finely ground maize flour forms the foundation of virtually every serious meal in the country. But calling nshima just porridge would be like calling pizza just bread with toppings. You're missing the entire cultural significance. The preparation of nshima requires genuine skill. Women typically learn the technique from their mothers and grandmothers, stirring constantly with a wooden spoon called a mwiko as the mixture transforms from liquid to the perfect dense consistency. The stirring motion becomes almost meditative, and experienced cooks can gauge the exact consistency by sound and resistance alone. Properly prepared nshima should be firm enough to mold with your hands, but soft enough to absorb the flavors of accompanying dishes. Each region has slight variations in preparation style. Some prefer it slightly softer, others firmer, and these preferences can spark friendly debates between people from different areas. The ndiwo, relish served alongside nshima, determines the meal's character. Vegetable ndiwo might include rape similar to collard greens, cabbage, tomatoes, and onions cooked with groundnut powder for richness. Meat versions feature beef, chicken, goat, or fish prepared in various styles. Kapenta, tiny sardine-like fish from Lake Tanganyika, appears frequently and provides affordable protein for most families. More adventurous eaters can try into a flying ants or Iphicubala caterpillars, both considered delicacies with high nutritional value. These protein sources might seem unusual to foreign palates, but they're prepared with sophisticated seasoning techniques that create surprisingly complex flavors. Caterpillars, in particular, have a nutty taste when properly cooked and seasoned. Street food culture thrives in urban areas, offering quick, affordable meals for workers and students. Vitumbua sweet fried dough balls provide popular breakfast options, while grilled fish, chicken, and beef appear at roadside stands throughout cities. The portions are typically generous, and prices remain incredibly affordable compared to Western standards. Traditional cooking methods still dominate, even in urban areas. Many families prepare meals using charcoal braziers or wood-fired stoves, which infuse food with distinctive smoky flavors impossible to replicate with gas or electric cooking. The slow cooking process allows complex flavor development that makes simple ingredients taste extraordinary. Coffee culture in Zambia presents interesting contrasts. While the country produces excellent coffee beans, primarily in the northern province, most locals prefer tea for daily consumption. The coffee production focuses mainly on export markets, meaning some of Zambia's best coffee ends up in European and American cafes while locals drink instant coffee or tea. However, urban areas increasingly embrace coffee shop culture, especially in Lusaka and Livingstone. These establishments cater primarily to expatriates, tourists, and young urban Zambians adopting international lifestyle trends. A decent cup of coffee costs significantly less than in Western cities, making it affordable even on local salaries. Local beer culture revolves around several popular brands that have become integral to social life. Mosi beer, named after the local name for Victoria Falls, provides refreshing relief in hot weather and remains the most popular choice for social gatherings. Castle Lager and Carling Black Label also maintain strong followings, with each brand developing distinct cultural associations. Traditional alcoholic beverages maintain importance in rural areas and ceremonial contexts. Katubi traditional beer made from maize or sorghum plays essential roles in traditional ceremonies. and community celebrations. Cachaça, a strong or distilled spirit, appears at special occasions but requires careful consumption due to its potency. The chibuku, a commercial version of traditional beers sold in distinctive cartons, bridges traditional and modern drinking cultures. It's cheap, widely available, and maintains some connection to traditional brewing methods while meeting modern distribution needs. Food markets provide sensory overload experiences that combine commerce with entertainment. Vendors arrange colorful pyramids of tomatoes, onions, and peppers alongside dried fish, fresh meat, and exotic vegetables unknown to most foreign visitors. The negotiation process becomes performance art, with vendors and customers engaging in elaborate bargaining rituals that serve social functions. Beyond mere price determination, seasonal eating patterns reflect agricultural cycles and traditional preservation methods. The rainy season brings fresh vegetables and fruits, while dry season meals rely more heavily on stored grains and preserved foods. This seasonal variation creates anticipation for particular foods and maintains connections to natural cycles, often lost in urban environments. International cuisine availability has expanded significantly in major cities, with Chinese, Indian, and Lebanese restaurants serving expatriate communities and adventurous locals. However, these establishments typically adapt their cuisines to local tastes and available ingredients, creating fusion styles unique to Zambia. Home brewing and food preservation techniques passed down through generations ensure food security. During challenging times, many families maintain small gardens producing vegetables, herbs, and fruits that supplement purchased staples. This self-sufficiency creates resilience against economic fluctuations and maintains connections to agricultural traditions. The social aspects of eating cannot be separated from the food itself. Meals are communal experiences where families and friends gather to share not just food, but conversation, news, and connections. Eating alone is considered somewhat sad, and visitors are typically invited to share meals regardless of economic circumstances. The social scene in Zambia operates on entirely different principles than most Western dating cultures, creating both opportunities and challenges for foreigners trying to understand romantic and social dynamics. Zambian women have earned reputations throughout the region for their beauty, intelligence, and strong character, but these surface attributes only scratch the beginning of understanding what makes relationships work in this cultural context. Traditional courtship practices still influence modern dating, especially outside major urban centers. Extended families play active roles in relationship approval and development, meaning dating someone often means gaining acceptance from a much larger social network. This isn't necessarily restrictive, but rather provides built-in support systems and accountability that many Western relationships lack. Zambian women typically prioritize family stability and financial security when evaluating potential partners, but not in the materialistic sense common in some cultures. They're looking for men who demonstrate responsibility, reliability, and genuine commitment to family well-being rather than flashy wealth or status symbols. A man who consistently provides for his family and treats his relatives with respect carries much more appeal than someone with expensive possessions but questionable character. The concept of girlfriend allowance mentioned in social media discussions reflects traditional expectations that men contribute financially to their partner's well-being, but this practice varies significantly by education level, urban versus rural location, and individual family values. Many educated urban women prefer relationships based on mutual support rather than financial dependency. Urban dating scenes in Lusaka and other major cities increasingly resemble international patterns, with young professionals meeting through work, social events, and online platforms. Coffee shops, restaurants, and entertainment venues provide neutral spaces for getting to know each other without immediate family involvement. However, even modern urban relationships typically progress toward family introduction much faster than Western standards. Physical beauty standards in Zambia celebrate natural features rather than artificial enhancement. Most Zambian women maintain natural hairstyles, minimal makeup, and dress styles that emphasize elegance over revealing fashion. This creates a refreshing contrast to highly manufactured beauty standards. Common in many Western countries, social life centers around extended family gatherings, religious activities, and community events rather than nightclub scenes familiar to many foreigners. Weekends often involve visiting relatives, attending church services, or participating in traditional ceremonies. Understanding and respecting these priorities becomes essential for successful relationship integration. The nightlife that does exist tends to be more social than romantic in focus. Bars and clubs serve as places where friends gather to celebrate, discuss current events, and enjoy music and dancing rather than primarily for meeting romantic partners. Live music venues feature local artists performing everything from traditional songs to modern African pop and international covers. Gender role expectations remain quite traditional in many contexts, with women handling domestic responsibilities and men expected to provide financial leadership. However, these roles show increasing flexibility, especially among educated urban populations. Many Zambian women pursue careers, own businesses, and maintain financial independence while also valuing traditional family structures. Communication styles tend to be more indirect than many Western patterns, with important conversations happening through subtle hints and extended discussions rather than direct confrontation. This requires patience and cultural sensitivity from foreigners accustomed to more explicit communication patterns. Learning to read social cues and participate in extended conversation styles becomes crucial for social integration. Religious values significantly influence relationship expectations, with most Zambians identifying as Christian and expecting partners to share similar spiritual commitments. Church attendance, prayer, and religious holidays play important roles in social life, and romantic relationships typically include discussions about shared faith and religious practices. The extended family system means that successful relationships require managing complex social networks where multiple relatives have opinions and expectations about partnership choices. This can feel overwhelming to individualistic foreigners, but also provides incredible support systems during challenging times. Modern technology impacts social connections, with mobile phones and social media platforms allowing people to maintain relationships across distances and meet new people through online interactions. However, virtual relationships typically progress toward face-to-face meetings and family introductions, much faster than in cultures where online dating remains primarily digital. Economic factors influence social life significantly, with many social activities designed around affordable or free entertainment options. House parties, outdoor gatherings, and community events provide social opportunities without requiring significant financial investment. This creates inclusive social environments where economic status doesn't determine social participation levels. Traditional ceremonies provide important social opportunities where single people meet potential partners within culturally appropriate contexts. Wedding celebrations, harvest festivals, and religious events create natural environments for social interaction with family approval and community oversight. The concept of lobola bride price remains relevant in many communities, though its practice varies considerably by region and family tradition. This isn't simply a financial transaction, but rather a symbolic recognition of the bride as value and the groom as commitment to supporting her family relationships. Social drinking follows distinct cultural patterns, with alcohol consumption typically happening in group settings rather than individual drinking. Traditional beers and local spirits accompany celebrations and social gatherings, but excessive drinking carries social stigma and can damage relationship prospects. The calendar in Zambia pulses with traditional ceremonies that transform communities into vibrant celebrations of history, culture, and identity. These are tourist performances created for foreign entertainment. They are authentic expressions of cultural values that have survived colonial disruption and modernization pressures. While adapting to contemporary circumstances, the Kuomboka ceremony stands as perhaps Zambia's most internationally recognized traditional event. Though its significance extends far beyond tourist appeal, This spectacular celebration occurs annually in Western Province when rising Zambezi River waters force the Lutunga king to move from his dry season residence to higher ground. The timing depends entirely on natural flood cycles, making attendance somewhat unpredictable but adding authentic environmental connection to the ceremony. The ceremony itself unfolds like a carefully choreographed opera performed on water. The Lutunga's massive royal barge, decorated with traditional symbols and paddled by hundreds of oarsmen, processes across the flooded plains while thousands of spectators line the shores. Traditional drums provide rhythmic accompaniment, their sounds carrying across the water for miles. Participants wear elaborate traditional costumes featuring animal skins, feathers, and intricate beadwork that represent centuries of artistic tradition. But Kuomboka represents much more than pageantry. The ceremony celebrates the Lozi people's adaptation to seasonal flooding cycles that have shaped their culture for generations. It demonstrates respect for natural environmental patterns while showcasing political structures that have governed the region for centuries. The Lutunga's movement symbolizes leadership responsibility to ensure community safety and prosperity during challenging times. The Nsiwala ceremony in Eastern Province offers equally spectacular cultural immersion, with completely different themes and traditions. This Ngoni celebration occurs annually to commemorate the first harvest and honor ancestral spirits who ensure agricultural prosperity. The ceremony timing coincides with grain maturity, connecting cultural celebration directly to economic survival and environmental cycles. Nsiwala features traditional dances that tell historical stories about Ngoni migration patterns, military victories, and cultural adaptation strategies. Young women perform intricate reed dances wearing traditional costumes, while men demonstrate warrior dances that commemorate historical battles and celebrate masculine strength. These performances aren't entertainment, but rather living history lessons that transmit cultural knowledge to younger generations. The ceremony includes ritual elements that connect participants to spiritual beliefs, predating Christian influence, but coexisting peacefully with modern religious practices. Traditional healers perform cleansing ceremonies, elders offer prayers for agricultural success, and community leaders make important announcements about local governance issues. This blend of spiritual, practical, and political elements demonstrates how traditional ceremonies maintain relevance in contemporary society. The Kumilayo Mais in Northwestern Province celebrates Lovell cultural identity through elaborate mask dancing and traditional music. This ceremony occurs annually to honor the Lovell people's ancestral connections and celebrate cultural survival despite historical disruptions. The masks themselves represent different spiritual characters, historical figures, and cultural values transmitted through artistic expression. The preparation for major ceremonies involves entire communities for weeks or months in advance. Women spend countless hours creating traditional costumes, preparing special foods, and organizing logistics for hosting thousands of visitors. Men practice traditional dances, repair ceremonial equipment, and coordinate with neighboring communities to ensure successful celebrations. These ceremonies provide crucial economic benefits for rural communities through tourism revenue. Though this remains secondary to their cultural significance, visitors pay fees for attendance, purchase traditional crafts, and require accommodation and meals, creating income streams that help preserve traditional practices through economic incentives. Traditional music plays essential roles in all ceremonies, featuring drums, xylophones, and string instruments unique to different ethnic groups. Musicians train for years to master complex rhythmic patterns and traditional songs that accompany specific ceremonial elements. The music serves functional purposes, coordinating dance movements, signaling ceremony transitions, and creating emotional atmospheres appropriate for different ritual elements. Food preparation for ceremonies follows traditional methods and recipes specific to different cultural groups. Special dishes appear only during ceremonial occasions, using ingredients and preparation techniques passed down through generations. These ceremonial foods often require intensive preparation involving entire extended families, working together for days. The clothing and decorative arts displayed during ceremonies represent sophisticated artistic traditions that rival any museum collection. Traditional textiles, beadwork, wood carving, and metalworking showcase technical skills and aesthetic sensibilities developed over centuries. Many ceremony participants wear family heirloom costumes that connect them directly to ancestral heritage. Modern technology integration happens selectively during traditional ceremonies. Mobile phones document events for absent family members, and social media spreads information about ceremony schedules and outcomes. However, most communities maintain strict protocols about appropriate technology used during sacred elements of ceremonies. Government officials typically attend major ceremonies, demonstrating respect for traditional authority while showcasing national unity across cultural diversity. These events provide opportunities for traditional leaders to communicate community needs to government representatives and maintain political relationships that benefit local development projects. The educational value of ceremonies cannot be overstated. Children learn cultural history, traditional skills, and community values through participation and observation. These experiential learning opportunities transmit knowledge that formal education systems cannot replicate, ensuring cultural continuity across generations. International recognition increasingly acknowledges the cultural significance of Zambian traditional ceremonies. Some events attract visitors from neighboring countries and overseas, creating cultural exchange opportunities while providing economic incentives for tradition preservation. Breaking down the actual numbers behind living in Zambia reveals why so many expats describe it as Africa's best-kept secret for affordable lifestyle. The $500 monthly budget isn't just survival mode. It has comfortable middle-class living that would cost 3 to 4 times more in most Western countries. Housing costs provide the most dramatic savings compared to international standards. A decent one-bedroom apartment in a safe Lusaka neighborhood ranges from $200 to $400 monthly, depending on location and amenities. These aren't cramped studios, but proper apartments with separate living areas, kitchens, and often small gardens or balconies. Add utilities, electricity, water, internet, and your total housing costs rarely exceed $500 monthly. Compare this to London, where a similar apartment easily costs $1,500 to $2,500 monthly, or New York, where $3,000 to $4,000 is normal for comparable accommodations. Suddenly, Zambia's housing market looks incredibly attractive for anyone seeking space and comfort without financial stress. The neighborhoods vary significantly in character and pricing. Areas like Kapilonga and Woodlands offer upscale living with shopping centers, restaurants, and expatriate communities, commanding higher rents but still remaining affordable by international standards. Middle income areas like Charleston and Roma provide excellent value with good security, reasonable amenities, and easy access to city center locations. Food costs create equally impressive savings opportunities. Shopping at local markets. You can feed yourself well for $50 to $80 monthly, purchasing fresh vegetables, fruits, grains, and occasional meat or fish. Local restaurants serve filling meals for $2 to $5, while international cuisine at upscale establishments rarely exceeds $15 to $20 per person. Compare this to Western cities where single restaurant meals often cost $25 to $50, and grocery budgets easily reach $300 to $500 monthly. Transportation costs remain minimal compared to car-dependent Western cities. Local minibus fares within Lusaka cost less than $1 per trip. For expats preferring personal vehicles, used cars remain affordable, though fuel costs can add up. However, even including car payments, insurance, and fuel, transportation budgets rarely exceed $100 to $300 monthly for most expatriate lifestyles. Entertainment and social activities offer incredible value propositions. Local bars serve beers for $1 to $2, while cocktails at upscale venues cost $5 to $8. Movie tickets, sporting events, and cultural performances maintain affordable pricing that allows regular participation without budget stress. Weekend trips to Victoria Falls, national parks, or neighboring countries remain accessible for most expatriate budgets. Healthcare costs vary dramatically depending on chosen providers and insurance arrangements. Public healthcare remains very affordable, but with quality limitations that concern most expats. Private healthcare costs significantly more, but still remains reasonable compared to American standards. Many expats purchase international health insurance for serious medical issues, while using local private clinics for routine care. The expatriate community in Lusaka has grown steadily, creating support networks and social opportunities for newcomers. Regular social events, business networking groups, and cultural activities provide integration opportunities, while maintaining connections to international communities. Digital nomad potential remains somewhat limited by internet infrastructure outside major urban areas, though Lusaka and Livingstone offer sufficient connectivity for most remote work requirements. Co-working spaces and internet cafes provide backup options, while mobile data packages offer reasonable backup connectivity. Banking and financial services function adequately for expatriate needs, with several banks offering services in English and accepting international transfers. Mobile money systems like MTN Mobile Money provide convenient payment options for local transactions, reducing cash dependency. Shopping for international goods requires strategic planning, as imported items carry significant markups compared to local products. However, basic necessities remain affordable, and creative substitutions often provide similar results at lower costs. Many expats develop hybrid shopping patterns, purchasing local produce and staples while importing specific items periodically. The visa situation for long-term residents requires careful navigation, as Zambia doesn't offer specific digital nomad visas. However, tourist visas provide 90-day stays, and business visas accommodate longer-term arrangements for those establishing local business connections or employment. Seasonal variations affect living costs, particularly electricity bills during cold months when heating becomes necessary. The rainy season can disrupt some services temporarily, requiring backup planning for essential needs. However, these seasonal adjustments rarely create major budget disruptions. Cultural adaptation costs should be factored into expatriate budgets. Language lessons, cultural orientation activities, and integration efforts require time and money investments that pay significant long-term dividends. For successful expatriate experiences, employment opportunities for qualified expatriates exist primarily in education, healthcare, development work, and business sectors. Salaries for expatriate positions typically provide comfortable living standards within Zambian contexts, though they rarely match Western salary levels. The tax implications for expatriate residents require professional consultation, as Zambian tax obligations depend on residency status, income sources, and international tax treaty agreements with home countries. Long-term expatriates often develop increasingly local lifestyle patterns, reducing costs further while increasing cultural integration and satisfaction levels. This adaptation process typically requires 6 to 12 months, but results in sustainable, enjoyable lifestyle arrangements that would be impossible to replicate in expensive Western cities. Getting around Zambia requires understanding a transportation ecosystem that blends modern convenience with traditional African solutions, creating travel experiences that range from surprisingly comfortable to memorably adventurous. The key to successful navigation involves matching transportation choices to specific needs, distances, and comfort preferences. Within Lusaka, minibus taxis form the backbone of public transportation, providing affordable connections between residential areas and commercial centers. These ubiquitous vehicles follow established routes marked by designated stops, though experienced riders know that waving enthusiastically at approaching minibuses often produces stops regardless of official locations. The fare system operates on honor-based payments to conductors, who somehow manage to calculate complex pricing while hanging out of moving vehicles. The minibus experience provides authentic cultural immersion whether you want it or not. Expect intimate proximity to fellow passengers, lively conversations in multiple languages, and music selections that reflect popular Zambian tastes. The vehicles pack passengers efficiently, with conductors demonstrating impressive spatial calculation skills. When determining capacity limits, however, safety standards vary considerably between operators, making vehicle selection somewhat crucial. For comfortable travel, taxi services have evolved significantly with smartphone technology introduction. Ulendo and Yango apps provide reliable ride-hailing services similar to Uber. Though coverage remains primarily urban, these services offer predictable pricing, vehicle tracking, and cashless payment options that eliminate negotiation stress. Pricing remains remarkably affordable compared to Western standards. A 30-minute crosstown trip typically costs less than $5. Traditional taxis still operate throughout urban areas, requiring fair negotiation skills and local knowledge to ensure reasonable pricing. These vehicles often provide more flexible routing than app-based services and can be found at designated taxi ranks are hailed from streets. However, vehicle conditions vary dramatically, and language barriers can complicate communication about destinations and pricing. For longer intercity travel, bus services connect major destinations with varying comfort and reliability levels. Luxury bus companies offer air-conditioned coaches with assigned seating for routes between Lusaka and popular destinations like Livingstone, Nola, and Kitwe. These services provide comfortable, affordable travel for tourists and business travelers willing to accept scheduled departure times. Regular bus services reach smaller towns and rural destinations, using older vehicles with basic amenities but significantly lower fares. These journeys often include extended stops at markets and towns along routes, providing cultural experiences but requiring patience for time-sensitive travel. Road conditions affect journey times significantly, especially during rainy seasons when some routes become temporarily impassable. Domestic flights serve major destinations through several airlines, offering time-saving alternatives for longer distances. Proflight Zambia provides regular scheduled services between major cities, while charter services reach safari destinations and remote locations. Flight costs remain reasonable compared to international standards, making air travel viable for tourists and business travelers. With appropriate budgets, road conditions vary dramatically across the country, affecting travel times and vehicle requirements significantly. Major highways between urban centers maintain good conditions suitable for standard vehicles, while secondary roads require higher clearance vehicles during certain seasons. The rainy season transforms some rural roads into challenging passages requiring four-wheel drive capabilities and local navigation knowledge. Fuel costs impact transportation decisions, especially for personal vehicle owners and long-distance travelers. Petrol prices fluctuate with international markets, but generally remain lower than European standards while exceeding American levels. Strategic fuel planning becomes important for longer journeys, as fuel availability can vary in remote areas. Vehicle rental services exist primarily in major cities and tourist areas, providing options for self-drive exploration. International rental companies operate alongside local providers, offering various vehicle categories from standard cars to four-wheel drive vehicles suitable for safari and rural exploration. However, insurance coverage and roadside assistance availability require careful consideration for remote area travel. Personal vehicle ownership among expatriates depends on individual circumstances and lifestyle preferences. Used vehicle markets offer reasonable options, though importing vehicles involves complex procedures and significant costs. Many expatriates choose vehicle purchase over rental for long-term stays, finding local ownership more economical and convenient than ongoing rental expenses. Motorcycle transportation has gained popularity for urban commuting and short-distance rural transport. Boda motorcycle taxis provide quick, affordable transport for single passengers willing to accept minimal safety equipment and traffic navigation adventures. Personal motorcycle ownership offers independent mobility at lower costs than cars, though weather protection and cargo capacity limitations affect practical utility. Bicycle transportation remains viable in many areas, with cycling infrastructure varying by location. Some expatriates adopt cycling for exercise and local transport, though traffic conditions and road surfaces require careful consideration. Bicycle rental and purchase options exist in major urban areas, with mountain bikes proving most suitable for varied terrain conditions. Walking remains the primary transportation mode for many Zambians, with pedestrian infrastructure varying significantly by location. Urban centers provide sidewalks and pedestrian crossings, though maintenance and accessibility standards fluctuate. Rural areas often require walking as the only practical option for reaching certain destinations, making comfortable footwear essential for comprehensive exploration. Border crossing procedures for regional travel involve straightforward processes for most nationalities, with road transportation providing convenient access to neighboring countries. Regular bus services connect to Zimbabwe, Botswana, and other regional destinations, while personal vehicles require appropriate documentation and insurance coverage for international travel. Zambia's natural attractions operate on a scale that makes other African destinations look like warm-up acts. Yet somehow the country remains dramatically underexplored compared to its more famous neighbors. This creates extraordinary opportunities for experiencing world-class wildlife and landscapes, without fighting crowds or paying premium prices designed for mass tourism markets. Victoria Falls alone justifies visiting Zambia, but calling it just a waterfall misses the point entirely. Standing on the Zambian side, you experience the full power and majesty of the Zambezi River plunging 108 meters into the gorge below, creating mist clouds visible from 50 kilometers away. The thundering water produces sounds that indigenous peoples interpreted as supernatural communication, leading to the original name Mosi Otunya, the smoke that thunders. The Zambian approach to Victoria Falls provides more intimate, less commercialized experiences than the Zimbabwe side. Walking paths through the rainforest created by constant mist allow close encounters with the falls, while maintaining natural settings. The bridge connecting Zambia and Zimbabwe offers spectacular viewing platforms and adrenaline. Activities like bungee jumping and ziplining for thrill seekers. Mosi Otunya National Park surrounds the falls, protecting wildlife populations that include elephants, buffalo, zebras, and various antelope species. Game drives in this compact park provide excellent wildlife viewing opportunities combined with falls visits, creating comprehensive day trip experiences. The park's small size makes it perfect for first-time African safari experiences, without overwhelming logistics. South Luangwa National Park represents Zambia's wildlife viewing pinnacle, offering some of Africa's most concentrated animal populations within pristine wilderness settings. The park's remote location and limited accommodation capacity maintain exclusive atmospheres, while keeping visitor numbers manageable. Walking safaris originated here, providing intimate wildlife encounters impossible from vehicles. The Luangwa River creates seasonal lagoons and oxbow lakes that concentrate wildlife during dry seasons, producing spectacular photographic opportunities. Elephant populations remain robust, with herds numbering in hundreds gathering at water sources during peak dry season months. Leopard sightings occur frequently due to healthy populations and excellent local guide knowledge. Night drives in South Luangwa reveal nocturnal wildlife, rarely seen elsewhere, including leopards, hyenas, civets, and various cat species. The park's commitment to conservation and community involvement creates sustainable tourism models that benefit local populations while protecting wildlife resources. Lower Zambezi National Park offers unique combinations of river-based and traditional land safaris within pristine wilderness settings. Canoe safaris along the Zambezi River provide peaceful wildlife viewing opportunities, while demonstrating different ecosystem dynamics. Elephants frequently cross between Zambia and Zimbabwe, creating opportunities to observe natural migration patterns. The park's diverse habitats support impressive wildlife variety, from river-dwelling hippos and crocodiles to woodland species like kudu and sable antelope. Fishing opportunities for tigerfish and other species add sporting elements to wildlife viewing experiences. The remote location and limited development maintain authentic wilderness atmospheres. Increasingly rare in African safari destinations, Lake Tanganyika, one of Africa's Great Lakes, provides completely different natural experiences focusing on aquatic ecosystems and water-based recreation. The lake has exceptional clarity, and endemic fish species support unique snorkeling and diving opportunities rarely associated with African travel. Beach areas offer relaxation alternatives to wildlife-focused activities. Traditional fishing communities around Lake Tanganyika maintain cultural authenticity while providing insights into sustainable resource management practices. The lake's size and depth create weather patterns and scenic variety that rival ocean destinations. While maintaining freshwater advantages, Kafue National Park, Africa's second-largest park, offers vast wilderness experiences with minimal tourist infrastructure. The park's enormous size encompasses diverse ecosystems supporting different wildlife populations and providing opportunities for multi-day exploration adventures. Seasonal flooding creates wetland habitats crucial for various species reproduction and survival. Bird watching opportunities throughout Zambia attract specialized tourists seeking endemic and migratory species. The country's location along major flyways creates seasonal concentrations of international significance. Over 750 bird species have been recorded, providing excellent opportunities for both casual observers and serious ornithologists. Adventure tourism opportunities extend beyond traditional wildlife viewing, with whitewater rafting, kayaking, fishing, and hiking options utilizing natural features. The Zambezi River below Victoria Falls provides world-class whitewater rafting through spectacular gorge scenery, combining adrenaline activities with natural beauty. Cultural tourism integration with natural attractions provides comprehensive experiences that benefit local communities while enhancing visitor understanding. Traditional ceremonies often occur in natural settings, connecting cultural heritage to environmental conservation while providing authentic cultural exchange opportunities. Conservation success stories demonstrate effective wildlife management despite limited resources and competing development pressures. Community-based conservation programs integrate local populations into wildlife protection efforts while providing economic alternatives to activities that threaten natural resources. Seasonal variations create dramatically different viewing experiences, with dry season wildlife concentrations contrasting with rainy season landscape beauty and bird activity. Understanding these patterns allows visitors to optimize their experiences based on specific interests and preferences. Access to natural attractions requires varying levels of logistics, planning, and physical preparation. Some destinations remain accessible through standard transportation, while others require four-wheel drive vehicles, charter flights, or multi-day camping arrangements. This variety accommodates different comfort levels and adventure preferences. Zambia's safety profile often surprises visitors, who arrive expecting typical negative African stereotypes, only to discover a country that ranks third safest in Africa according to the Global Peace Index. The reality of daily security concerns contrasts sharply with media portrayals of African countries, creating pleasant surprises for cautious travelers. While requiring realistic awareness of actual risks, petty crime represents the primary security concern, particularly in urban areas where pickpocketing, phone snatching, and vehicle break-ins occur with predictable frequency. However, these incidents typically involve opportunistic theft rather than violent confrontation, making prevention strategies relatively straightforward. Avoiding flashy displays of wealth, maintaining situational awareness, and using common urban safety practices prove effective for most situations. Violent crime rates remain relatively low compared to regional averages, with most incidents involving domestic disputes or alcohol-related conflicts, rather than random attacks on foreigners. Tourist areas maintain additional security presence, creating safer environments for visitors, while generating employment opportunities for local communities. The political stability that contributes to overall safety has been maintained through peaceful democratic transitions and governance systems that avoid the ethnic conflicts plaguing some neighboring countries. Zambian political culture emphasizes dialogue and compromise over confrontation, creating social stability that benefits residents and visitors alike. Healthcare systems present mixed realities requiring strategic planning for different medical needs. Public healthcare facilities provide basic services at minimal costs, but often lack equipment, medications, and specialized capabilities that expatriates expect. Rural clinics serve essential community needs but cannot handle complex medical situations requiring advanced interventions. Private healthcare in major cities offers significantly better quality and service levels, with facilities in Lusaka and other urban centers providing care comparable to international standards. These facilities typically employ well-trained medical professionals and maintain modern equipment, though costs increase proportionally to quality improvements. International health insurance becomes essential for expatriates planning extended stays, as medical evacuation costs for serious conditions can reach tens of thousands of dollars. Comprehensive coverage provides peace of mind while enabling access to appropriate care levels, without financial catastrophe during medical emergencies. Preventive health care measures require attention to local disease risks and environmental factors. Malaria prevention through appropriate medications, insect protection, and sleeping arrangements remains crucial throughout most of the country. Vaccinations for yellow fever, hepatitis, and other diseases should be current before arrival. Water quality varies significantly by location and source, with urban areas generally maintaining safer supplies than rural communities. Expatriates often invest in water filtration systems or rely on bottled water to avoid waterborne illnesses that can disrupt travel plans and create health complications. Education systems reflect colonial legacies combined with local adaptations and resource limitations. English serves as the primary instruction language, making integration easier for expatriate children while maintaining international educational compatibility. Urban schools typically offer higher quality education than rural facilities due to resource availability and teacher qualifications. Private international schools in Lusaka provide education meeting international standards, attracting expatriate families and affluent local families seeking quality education opportunities. These institutions often follow British, American, or international baccalaureate curricula while incorporating local cultural elements. University education in Zambia includes the University of Zambia and Copperbelt University, both offering degree programs in various fields. However, many affluent Zambians seek higher education abroad due to resource limitations and international recognition advantages. Adult education and skill development programs address literacy and vocational training needs within communities, often supported by international development organizations and government initiatives. These programs provide pathways for economic advancement while addressing national development priorities. Healthcare worker training programs attempt to address critical shortages in medical professionals, though brain drain to higher-paying international positions continues to challenge healthcare system development. Many qualified professionals emigrate to South Africa, Europe, or North America seeking better compensation and working conditions. Traditional healing practices coexist with modern medical approaches, with many Zambians utilizing both systems depending on specific health concerns and cultural beliefs. Understanding and respecting these parallel systems becomes important for expatriates seeking comprehensive healthcare integration. Emergency services availability varies dramatically by location, with urban areas maintaining ambulance services and emergency response capabilities, while rural areas rely on community-based emergency assistance. Expatriates should understand local emergency procedures and maintain appropriate communication capabilities for emergency situations. Mental health care resources remain limited throughout the country, with few specialized professionals and limited awareness of mental health issues. Expatriates with existing mental health needs should ensure appropriate medication supplies and consider telehealth options for ongoing care. Road safety represents a significant concern due to vehicle conditions, road maintenance, and traffic enforcement limitations. Defensive driving practices, vehicle maintenance attention, and awareness of local driving patterns become essential for personal transportation safety. Crime prevention strategies should include secure accommodation choices, transportation safety practices, and social awareness appropriate for local conditions. Understanding cultural norms and maintaining respectful behavior patterns reduce risks while enhancing social integration. Opportunities: emergency preparedness for natural disasters, political disruptions, or personal emergencies should include communication plans, document security, financial contingencies, and evacuation options. While major emergencies remain unlikely, reasonable preparation provides security and peace of mind for extended stays. Navigating Zambia's visa requirements reveals a surprisingly straightforward process that welcomes most international visitors while maintaining reasonable security procedures. The country's tourism-friendly approach contrasts favorably with bureaucratic nightmares common in some destinations, making legal entry and stay arrangements manageable for most travelers. American visitors benefit from particularly generous treatment, with 90-day visa-free entry periods that can be extended or renewed relatively easily. This arrangement provides ample time for exploring the country, establishing local connections, or evaluating longer-term residence possibilities without immediate visa stress. The 90-day periods reset with each entry, allowing flexible travel patterns for those exploring the region. European Union citizens generally receive similar treatment, though specific requirements vary by nationality and bilateral agreements. Most European visitors can expect visa-free entry for tourism purposes, with extensions available for longer stays. Business visitors may require different documentation depending on planned activities and duration. Tourist visa applications for nationalities requiring advance approval involve straightforward procedures through Zambian embassies or online platforms required. Documentation typically includes valid passports, photographs, travel itineraries, and proof of financial capacity. Processing times remain reasonable, usually completed within a few working days for routine applications. Business visa requirements increase documentation needs but remain manageable for legitimate business activities. Invitation letters from Zambian companies, proof of business relationships, and detailed activity descriptions facilitate approval processes. Business visas typically allow longer stays and multiple entries compared to tourist arrangements. Work permit procedures for employment-based residents require significantly more documentation and processing time, but remain achievable for qualified applicants with confirmed employment offers. Employers typically assist with application procedures, providing necessary documentation and legal support throughout approval processes. Student visa applications for educational institutions involve school enrollment confirmation, financial guarantees, and academic record verification. Zambian universities and international schools provide guidance for international students navigating visa requirements and residence procedures. Visa extension procedures for legitimate reasons typically involve straightforward applications to immigration offices in major cities. Extensions for tourism, business activities, or personal circumstances usually receive favorable consideration with appropriate documentation and fee payments. Digital nomad arrangements require creative interpretation of existing visa categories. As Zambia hasn't established specific digital nomad visa programs, tourist visas combined with periodic border runs provide workable solutions for remote workers not requiring formal employment authorization. SIM card acquisition happens easily at airports, shopping centers, and telecommunications shops throughout urban areas. Multiple providers offer competitive data packages and calling plans suitable for local communication needs. International roaming services provide connectivity options for short visits, though local SIM cards offer much better value for extended stays. Internet connectivity in urban areas generally supports basic remote work requirements, though speeds and reliability vary significantly by location and provider. Major cities offer fiber optic connections and reliable Wi-Fi at hotels, restaurants, and co-working spaces. Rural areas remain dependent on mobile data networks with limited coverage and speeds. Banking services for foreigners require proper documentation, but remain accessible for legitimate needs. Opening local bank accounts typically requires passport identification, proof of residence, and minimum deposit requirements, international money transfers through established banks or services like Western Union provide funding options for extended stays. Currency exchange occurs through banks, authorized dealers, and some hotels, with US dollars widely accepted for major transactions. The Zambian kwacha fluctuates against international currencies, making exchange rate monitoring important for budget planning. Credit card acceptance remains limited outside major establishments, requiring cash planning for most transactions. Accommodation booking strategies depend on travel style and budget preferences. International hotel chains maintain properties in major cities, while guest houses and lodges provide mid-range options. Throughout the country, budget accommodations vary significantly in quality, requiring careful research and flexible expectations. Transportation booking for intercity travel benefits from advanced planning, especially during peak travel seasons and holiday periods. Bus companies offer online booking for popular routes, while domestic flights require advanced reservation due to limited capacity. Car rental arrangements typically require international driving permits and credit card guarantees. Healthcare preparation should include comprehensive travel insurance, routine vaccinations, and malaria prevention measures. International insurance providers offer policies covering medical evacuation and comprehensive care, essential for serious medical situations requiring advanced treatment. Emergency contact information should include embassy details, local emergency services, and personal contact networks. Understanding local emergency procedures and maintaining communication capabilities provide security during unexpected situations. Legal compliance requires understanding local laws, cultural norms, and behavior expectations that may differ from home countries. Respect for traditional authorities, appropriate dress codes in rural areas, and awareness of photography restrictions in sensitive locations prevent legal complications. Document security involves maintaining passport protection, carrying authorized copies, and securing important documents against loss or theft. Digital copies stored securely online provide backup options for document replacement if necessary. Cultural preparation through basic language learning, cultural orientation reading, and social etiquette research enhances integration opportunities while preventing inadvertent cultural offense. Understanding greeting customs, social hierarchies, and religious sensitivities improves social interactions and relationship development. After this extensive look at life in Zambia, it becomes clear why this southern African nation deserves serious consideration from anyone seeking authentic cultural experiences, natural beauty, and affordable living opportunities. The $500 monthly budget isn't just about survival. It represents comfortable middle-class living that would cost thousands elsewhere. Zambia offers something increasingly rare. In our globalized world, authenticity without pretense, the friendliness isn't performed for tourists. It's genuine cultural expression rooted in Ubuntu philosophy and traditional hospitality values. The natural attractions aren't manufactured theme park experiences, but real wilderness areas, where conservation success stories demonstrate effective environmental stewardship. Despite limited resources, the women of Zambia embody grace, intelligence, and strength while maintaining cultural values that prioritize family, community, and personal dignity. Understanding and respecting these values opens doors to meaningful relationships and cultural exchange opportunities, impossible to replicate in more superficial tourism environments. The food culture provides daily adventures and flavors and techniques that transform simple ingredients into complex, satisfying meals. Learning to appreciate nshima and traditional cooking methods connects visitors to agricultural traditions and social practices that define Zambian identity. Safety concerns, while requiring reasonable precautions, shouldn't overshadow the reality that Zambia maintains political stability and social peace that make it genuinely welcoming to foreigners seeking long-term residence or cultural immersion experiences. The transportation challenges become adventures that connect travelers to local communities, and authentic experiences often missed by luxury tourism approaches. Whether sharing minibus rides with local families or navigating rural roads to reach traditional ceremonies, These experiences create memories and understanding impossible to achieve through sanitized tourism packages. Healthcare and education systems, while requiring strategic planning and realistic expectations, provide adequate services for most needs, while offering opportunities to contribute to community development through volunteer work or professional service. The natural attractions alone justify visiting Zambia. From Victoria Falls' thundering power to South Luangwa's walking safari innovations. But the country's true treasures lie in cultural exchanges, community relationships, and daily life experiences that provide insights into alternative lifestyle approaches, focused on community over individualism, for digital nomads, budget travelers, cultural enthusiasts, or anyone seeking meaningful alternatives to expensive Western lifestyle patterns. Zambia presents opportunities that combine affordability with authenticity in ways increasingly difficult to find elsewhere. The visa requirements remain manageable, the currency provides excellent value, and the English language capabilities remove communication barriers that complicate integration in many developing countries. Most importantly, Zambia offers hope. In a world often divided by economic inequality, cultural misunderstanding, and environmental destruction, this country demonstrates that different approaches to community organization, resource management, and social relationships can create societies that prioritize human dignity and environmental stewardship over pure economic exploitation. Whether you're considering a short visit to experience Victoria Falls and traditional ceremonies, or contemplating longer-term residence to escape expensive Western lifestyle costs, Zambia rewards those willing to approach it with respect, openness, and genuine curiosity about different ways of organizing human communities. The $500 monthly budget represents not just financial savings, but access to experiences, relationships, and perspectives that money cannot buy in wealthier countries obsessed with efficiency over community, productivity over relationships, and individual success over collective well-being. So if you're tired of high living costs, superficial social interactions, and disconnection from natural environments, Zambia might just be the hidden paradise you've been searching for. Pack light, arrive with an open mind, and prepare for experiences that will challenge assumptions while creating memories that last far beyond any vacation. Comment below if you're seriously considering Zambia for your next adventure. And don't forget to subscribe for more hidden paradise documentaries that reveal authentic travel opportunities away from overcrowded tourist destinations. The world still contains places where genuine cultural exchange, natural beauty, and affordable living combine to create experiences that transform perspectives and enrich lives in ways that luxury tourism simply cannot match.